Of course, we'll delve further into the terrorism financing aspect of the conversation. Once again, welcome to the show. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. On WhatsApp, it's 080959757805. On X, it's Hard Facts at Nigeria Info FM 99.3. For those of you who've not followed the conversation from last week, a federal high court in Lagos had convicted and sentenced 9 Chinese nationals to 1 year imprisonment for operating a Ponzi scheme linked to terrorism financing, which was uncovered right here in Victoria Island, Lagos, sometime in December of 2024. The convicts are King Xiao, Yong Luo, Mao Yang, Liu Nini, Liu Gang, Sung Ki, also known as Wang Jingping, Zhang Zhuan, Ling Deweng, Fung Ming, and Tang Ming. Now, Justice Daniel Osiago handed down the sentence on Monday last week after the EFCC, represented by counsel Abdulrashid Rilwan, presented a plea bargain agreement reached with the convicts and approved by the commission. That's where our conversation begins from. The defense lawyers, Folari Dalmida and Abdul Kader Wadi, confirmed the agreement and urged the court to adopt it as a judgment. Justice Osiago upheld the plea bargain, sentencing each of the convicts to 1 year in prison. He also ordered the forfeiture of all electronic devices recovered during the investigation and impounded, and he also imposed a fine of 1 million naira each for every convict. That's 9 million. The court further directed that the Nigerian Immigration Service deports these convicts to China within 7 days of completing their jail terms. I went through that so that you would understand the basis for our conversation today. Well, my guest is my longtime friend, and I have not seen him in years. He's joining me live. He's my very good friend. He comes on my TV shows. Jide Ologun is a lawyer. He's a fellow of the Institute of Leadership, Coaching and Strategy, and he joins us live from Lagos via Zoom. Mr. Ologun, it's so good to have you join us. Happy New Year, because I haven't seen you in a bit.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure. It's been a while.
Yes, I know this. I went through the trouble of reading that statement so that you understand where we're hinging our conversation, and this is also for our audience. Let's start with the plea bargain thing. A lot of people don't understand. I understand that in different countries, for diplomacy and plea bargains or deals to be made, there's certain things that need to be given up, even between the police or investigative institutions. Sometimes they let you off with a slap on the wrist because of some intel that you might give them. But help us to understand what this plea bargain means and what the grounds for this 1 year. I'm not saying it's a case that has already been done and dusted, but we want to understand why these men had 1 year for terrorism financing.
Thank you very much for that brilliant question. Let's lay a foundation. When you talk about the plea bargain process, it allows for negotiation between the prosecution and the defendant, leading to a reduced charge or sentence in exchange for a guilty plea and cooperation. And that is why many are wondering, just 1 year for such level of crime. When the prosecution commences, the defendant has a choice to plead guilty or not guilty. Mm-hmm. And when the defendant pleads not guilty, then the prosecution will start. But we also have in our constitution what we call the presumption of innocence, which states that the allegations must be proved beyond all reasonable doubt. And that is why you find that some cases are just in court for years. For instance, now, when did the former governor of Ekiti State leave office? Many years ago. And the criminal charges against him are still in court. So, and that is what we're talking about. And let's now come to Nigeria. Why not explicitly codified in all laws? It's been established through precedents, particularly in cases involving financial crimes and corruption. And the EFCC remains the key driver here. Now, let's go to the global environment. The origin of plea bargain can be traced to the American legal system in the 18th century. We started by convention. After it was accepted by the courts, it became entrenched in the federal and state criminal procedure rules. And the concept of this plea bargain achieved global recognition in 1970. So you can imagine, in the landmark case of Brady and United States, a case of kidnapping, where his sentence of 50 years was reduced to 30 years. And like I said, this has found its way into Nigeria, as a concept. And that is the foundation I want us to lay for it. And when was this introduced to Nigeria? In 2004, when the EFCC Act established the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, following increased level of corruption, and that concept was provided for under Section 14, subsection 2 of the EFCC Act. Not directly so. So what I will do now is just try and echo what we have in Section 14, subsection 2 of the EFCC Act. It empowers the Commission, subject to prosecutorial powers of the Attorney General under Section 174 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, to institute, continue, or discontinue criminal proceedings against any persons in any court of law, or to compound any offense punishable under the EFCC Act, accepting such sum of money as it thinks fit, not exceeding the maximum amount. You see, so it's a discretionary power that has been given in the judicial system in Nigeria, that has been exercised. And somebody may want to ask, have we had this? A similar case came up. You remember the case of Orubebe. Orubebe, I believe many Nigerians would have, not retain him in the front burner of their memory. Orubebe was the man who was challenging INEC when APC won the presidential election in 2015
against Jonathan, yes,
saying that Jega was exactly. So he was charged for fraud, about 1.97 billion naira, by the ICPC when he was former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, alongside others. But suddenly along the line, the case was dropped. Justice Olukayode Adeniyi struck out the case and discharged Orubebe and other defendants after the ICPC filed the case withdrawal in court. And I believe that must have been with the intervention of the Attorney General of the Federation. So by and large, we come to the point where you can negotiate. And then many have argued that this does not serve the interest of justice, and this will not help to fight corruption. But howbeit it, we have it as part of our criminal justice administration mechanism today. And some may want to question, and that question came to my mind, that let's assume these Chinese committed this offense in their country. How would it have been treated? And don't forget that this matter out of a raid that was carried out in Victoria Island, where many Nigerians have been trained on fraudulent activities. About 700 persons were apprehended. But part of the sentence in this case is that they have to pay 1 million naira fine. And some will be wondering, is that not too small for such level of offense? Why not? That is the essence of bargain. Bargain means bargain, because they were charged for cyber terrorism, which is use of computer-based attacks to cause disruption, fear of violence, and economic sabotage. And economic sabotage is such a serious crime that sometimes, depending on the nature, can even attract life capital punishment. You see? So, and then here we are. And again, one of the decisions of the Honorable Justice is that after they serve their 1-year term, which will commence on the day they were apprehended, that should be around 10th of December 2024, that they should be sent back to their countries. And I am of the opinion that when they arrive in China, I'm sure the government may also pick them up for appropriate disciplinary action, because I know China does not in any way joke with corruption. So that is where we are right now. So plea bargain has come to stay. It's discretional, and some who argue in favor of plea bargain will tell you it's to save the time of the courts. I've told you some cases have been in court like forever, and quite a number of times judges rising up to throw out some cases for lack of prosecution, because the prosecuting officer, sometimes they come to court and say they have forgotten the file, or the officer in charge has been transferred to another command, and different kinds of excuses, and this matter is in court forever. Recall the case of Nnamdi Kanu, when at a time they didn't bring him to court because of logistics. And I was wondering, if I were to be the judge in charge of that matter at that point in time, I would have asked them to pick two Helios vans from my vehicle pool and go and bring him from wherever. Otherwise, what kind of logistics would prevent a whole nation to bring Nnamdi Kanu to court to come and be prosecuted? You can see that prosecution is just ongoing and ongoing. Look at the case of the former CBN governor also.
Emefiele.
Some of us know for how long Emefiele will be in the situation he is currently. So plea bargain is bargain, and as the name implies, you plead guilty, and it will reduce the sentence or reduce the charges or bring it to the list. For instance, now, these people who have been convicted to serve 1 year jail term, December 10, 2024. Today is July 14, 2024. So how many more months for them? Just about 6 months to complete that term. So you see that it does not in any way help us in fighting crime in this country. I have spoken extensively about what we call reinforcement theory in industrial psychology. So it may appear that we reinforce crime. And I believe we talk about terrorism itself, and I can bring the case study of how the United Arab Emirates dealt with sponsorship.
You literally took my next question, because I was going to ask you that what picture does it paint of us to the outside world, especially being one of the Sahel countries that's dealing with deep-seated terrorism and terrorist activities to the north, to the south, to the east, and the west? What kind of picture are we painting to the rest of the world? Whatever happened to the 300 names for terrorism financing, and now we're letting these guys off the hook. Are they going to be giving us intel? And who's to say that once they're back in China, they can help us?
When you talk about picture, in public relations, you talk about image, and that is the impression you want to create in the heart of your public, whether internal or external. And you talk of reputation. Reputation is exactly who you are. So if you have a very sound reputation, you succeed in building that image. But if your reputation is weak, that image will collapse. And that is why we say in public relations that you cannot carve a rotten wood. So talking about the image of Nigeria, it's out there. We are known for what we are known for. But let me go to the UAE. The United Arab Emirates Federal Court of Appeals in Abu Dhabi convicted 6 sponsors of Boko Haram, and they did not hide their identities. I think Abdurrahman Ado Musa, Salihu Yusuf Adamu, Bashir Ali Yusuf, Mohammed Ibrahim Isa, then Ibrahim Al Hassan, and I think Surajo Muhammad or Abu Bakr. For what? For transferring $782,000 from Dubai to Boko Haram in Nigeria. And the UAE is not a direct victim of terrorism. It's Nigeria. And like you mentioned earlier, our federal minister then, Chief Lai Mohammed, told the world, and you asked me about image, painted a picture before the world, that this country that is almost ravaged by terrorism has identified about 400 sponsors of Boko Haram. And I should ask you, how many of the sponsors have the citizens met in court, being prosecuted? Just the same question we are asking about the economic terrorism in the realm of stealing our crude oil on a daily basis. We arrest the boys managing the illegal refineries, ferrying the crude oil, but we are the big guys. Well, you see, I'm not so surprised. When Honorable Dele Alake came in as a minister, after a while, I think after trying to be relevant, he came out to confess that, hey, powerful people are behind illegal mining in Nigeria. You see, so Nigeria is a blessed nation. It's a special nation. And those guys were dealt with in the UAE. Two of them sentenced to life imprisonment and the remaining to 10 years in prison, and they will be deported out of that place. Remember the case of Hush Puppy. Hush Puppy was a boy in Nigeria, had friendship in the National Assembly, highly influential. But he was picked up in Dubai and ferried to America. He's serving the jail time over there now for specific crime. You recall the case of the former governor of Delta State, Ibori, Onanife Ibori, who escaped all the long and short arms of the law in Nigeria. He was also picked up and ferried to the UK to serve a 13-year jail time. You recall the case of Senator Ekwerimadu and the wife, very sentimental case, and but you even realize that somewhere along the line, when the sentence was to be handed down, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, a former president of Nigeria, wrote a letter to the UK seeking for leniency. Even ECOWAS attempted to intervene, and UK said no, we have zero tolerance.
Exactly, but none of these people were repatriated to serve their terms or their time in jail in Nigeria. Why are we letting the Chinese guys go back to China, as opposed to the fact that they caused harm in Nigeria? They should be serving their term here in Nigeria. I remember a guy who was caught in, I think, Turkey or Tunisia, carrying drugs, and I think he was an American. He stayed there for the rest of his life in jail. I think it was a prison break that got him out, and a story was written about it. How come our case is always different? I have just 2 minutes before we go on a break. Barrister.
It's different because of who we are, the system we run. You have you should have also have mentioned Murtala, who attempted to bomb an aircraft on Christmas Day. The guy is cooling down in the US. He's not been sent back to Nigeria. So it's all about our level of tolerance and the age of our justice maturity. So one may be correct to say we are still heavily permissive of some crime. Otherwise, we should have been able to decimate the terrorism against the land. But like I mentioned earlier, when you encode powerful people, then you need to ask yourself, who are these powerful people? In the days of Goodluck Jonathan as the president of Nigeria, he said he had them in his cabinet. In this case of the UAE mentioned some names of some influential Nigerians that were in this racket of sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. But what did the government do about it? Recently, Senator Oshiomhole stood up. I'm sure you must have seen that video.
Yes.
To tell us that the government cannot pretend not to know the oil thieves and things like that. But who will go after them? They are untouchables, you see, and they live to commit crime. And when your country is permissive, criminals on the other side of the divide of your boundaries, we come in, to find solace in the environment. We are even talking about the 9 Chinese now. What about the other forming the population of 700 that we arrested? Imagine that level of crime grooming against Nigeria, raising such minds to go into criminality. So when they graduate, what happens to the governance fabric of the nation? So we need to be more serious about fighting corruption. What Section 15 subsection 5 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says clearly is that the nation shall abolish corrupt practices and abuse of office. And so, but here we are. Do we have the political will and the muzzle and the resolute mind as a nation to ensure that we cleanse our environment to be a safe place for legitimate investments. Yet,
more talk, news, and sports.
Sorry, we have to go on a break. We'll be right back.
Alright class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
I don't know, man. These days, all you hear is save, invest, save, invest. Wait, how do you guys find this money? Is it not someone that is settled that will have money to save and invest? And even if I manage to invest or save, the interest rates are so low. And one can lose money in all these crypto, NFT, blockchain, and so on.
Introducing Fund 724. It's a simple solution to all your money goals. With as low as 1,000 Naira or that urgent 2K in your pocket, you can start saving with Fund 724 and earn solid returns on your investment. And you can withdraw your money from your account for free. Anytime you like, just dial *724# on your mobile phone and follow the prompts.
Oh, so no need to download an app or join a long queue.
Dial *724# now to get started. Fund 724 is available 24/7. Guarantee Trust Fund Managers is a subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Toby Chio.
My goodness. When did he grow up? That's it with kids, though.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Now so I did on my own. Now a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click Fiam. Now so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey. If to say na Airtel you they use, them for first alert you before you click Airtel they identify spammers. Then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you know for Mugu for Wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me self they go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Oh, yes, I am the house agent.
Oh, so where and how do I inspect the house to make the right choice?
My brother, you see, this will take about 3 days to, take you around.
Are you an agent? Be the first to join. MyHomesNG.com allows you list properties, promote properties, and earn commissions and other exciting rewards, which will be paid directly to your wallet upon every booking and rental transactions on the platform. For more information, visit www.myhomesng.com.
Hi, this is Nene from the boat safety team. You can't see us, but we're right here with you on every boat ride. To your left is the ride insurance team. We insure your ride as soon as your trip starts. To your right is the record audio team. We keep a recording of your trip for 24 hours in case you need it later. And behind you is the customer support team, ready to chat 24/7. We're the boat safety team, by your side on every ride.
Hey there, mums and dads. Did you know that some children are picky eaters and also do not get enough fruits and vegetables from their diet? Well Kid Baby and Infant Syrup is a food supplement from Vitbiotics that contains 14 vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C and zinc, as well as flaxseed oil, which supports brain development and all-round health. Well Kid Baby and Infant Tasty Syrup is for children 3 months to 5 years of age. Give your young ones a good start with Well Kid Baby and Infant from Vitbiotics UK, available in pharmacies near you.
Success is like a big mansion. You only see the magnificent edifice, not the strong foundation that holds it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done and funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com. Unified Payments. unifying businesses for people.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with the new improved Maggi chicken flavor, made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of Cerelac Junior comes with the nutrition they need: natural grains, protein, and iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
This is Hot Fact with Maryann Okon.
This is Hot Facts on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM. My name is Shego Arinze.
99.3 Nigeria in for 33 minutes, gone past the 5 o'clock hour. We're still talking about plea bargain and, of course, the very peculiar situation with the 9 Chinese nationals who were given a 1-year jail term for Ponzi schemes and, of course, terrorism financing. And the good lawyer in the studio is helping us understand the process and why in their case it is different. Before we went on that break, Barrister Ologun, you were talking about the fact that you made mention of the fact that the UAE and several other countries have held back people who committed crimes against their countries as opposed to repatriating them to their home country to be dealt with. But then, of course, you talked about the peculiarity of how we handle our own diplomacy and, of course, the deals that come out of the plea bargain. But I want to veer off a bit from the legalese. Let's talk about our continued, in quote, fight against terrorism and how we've gone about it. There's that popular saying that if you do a thing the same way over and over again, it results to madness. Could we be somewhat resorting to madness in the way that we've gone about our fight against corruption? Buhari was president and he dispatched his service chiefs to the theater of war. It didn't change anything. Tinubu came and did the same thing. Every single day we're hearing governors and highly placed persons tell us that elites, some people in government, have a hand in this terrorism. But then the average Nigerian is watching to see the body language of the man at the top in dealing with this situation. But it looks like business as usual. And in the past 3 to 2 weeks, we've had more than 400 people die in Plateau, in Benue, and several other places. And I think in Zamfara, in Borno, we were told by some people there that babies were carved out of pregnant women's wombs. All kinds of things are happening. And we have a government in place. Have we done well? Have we really understood or come to appreciate how serious our issue with terrorism is?
Thank you for that very deep. And let me start also by laying a foundation. And what is that foundation? Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that states that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. And for that purpose, we have a structure called government. And by virtue of Section 5 of the same Constitution, the executive power is vested in the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who has the mandate to give the command. But lately in this country, there are more influential than the rule of law, because what the rule of law says is that every institution, every individual within the space must be answerable to the law. So now, let me roll out some references from content analysis. Talking about Boko Haram and the campaign and the sponsorship. Right now, and allow me to express my condolence to Nigerians at this moment, the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, just passed on in the UK, and we pray God grant his remains eternal rest. But for the purpose of our discussion, in 2013, I think on Liberty Radio, in the northern part of the country, he was the one, as influential as he is, that came out to say that clamp down on Boko Haram is injustice to the north. That is on one side. And he never denied it. Now, in 2011, as he was preparing for the 2015-11, when he lost the 2011 elections, there were violence eruptions across some parts of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And he also threatened that if he lost the 2015 election, he will soak the dogs and baboons in blood. So who are those to help soak the dogs and baboons in blood? And the questions are still in the air. Who are the dogs? Who are the baboons? Let me come to the governorship level. Former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, said he went trailing the Fulanis to pay them not to embark on reprisal attack. And some of us asked, is it with your personal money or state money? The same El-Rufai said they were in communication with the bandits, that they know where they are. Sheikh Gumi went to the enclave of the bandits, took photographs with them, brandishing sophisticated weapons. By the special grace of God, I'm a chief superintendent of police, and I can tell us here that under the Firearms Act in Nigeria, it is the president that has the prerogative to grant license in respect of AK-47. So who authorizes these bandits and terrorists with the weapons they use? At a point in this country, under a government, these bandits brought down a fighter jet. Do you know the speed of a fighter jet? Do you know the equipment you need to bring down a fighter jet? At the time, they were even threatening to overtake the Federal Capital Territory. They desecrated the NDA environment in Kaduna. And so you don't need all the handwritings on the wall to know that some highly influential people are behind the plague against Nigeria. And then, in fact, there was a time a helicopter was held down for supplying the bandits some materials in their territories. And it happened to be the helicopter of, I think, one of the former presidents in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, when these things come out, other stories will come and wipe it off. So that is where we are right now. And there's a saying that when you have the enemy within collaborating with enemy without, that battle will be very serious. And we have read, I'm talking of content analysis, they are not my imaginations, that there were people within the law enforcement agencies that have compromised. Some of them supplying weapons to these bandits. So different kinds of issues. You saw what the governor of Borno State went through at a time when he was challenging the fidelity of the law enforcement agents assigned to assure security in that part of the country. That something terrible happened. In response, I think there was an accusation then that they were collecting money from commuters and things like that. And at a checkpoint, and some bandits came and roasted them. We read how farmers were beheaded for not taking permission from bandits. As we speak, right? I mean, in the last tenure of leadership in this country, under the leadership of former President Muhammadu Buhari, the governor of Niger State came out screaming that about 92% of the local government areas in that region have been taken over. Look at Sokoto State, look at the Bay region. The Bay region, talking about Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. It started in the northeast, spread to the northwest. Even in the state of the former president, there were kidnappings. Look at the Dapchi girl kidnapping, Chibok. We have not come to the ends of all this. So I think Nigeria needs to wake up. And again, like I say, even though we have that provision in the constitution, you cannot sue the government for not securing the lives and properties of Nigerians and for not providing good welfare. If you read Section 16 of Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the economy should be managed in a way that wealth is not, held by few. That wealth is not transferred to the hands of few. That maximum happiness is provided. Reasonable living minimum wage. Beautiful provisions. You can read it. Section 18 mandates the government, as much as it lies within the power of the government, to provide education for all citizens. These things are there, but they are not justiciable because you cannot sue the government. You see, so what do we have? And if you look at Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it says that the National Assembly shall make laws for the peace, orderliness, and good government in Nigeria. But recently they were coming out with a bill to say all eligible voters must come out to vote, as it is in Australia and Egypt and about 18 other countries of the world. And the big question I rolled out is that how Australians treat their citizens, where over 80% of the citizens are reckoned to be within the multifaceted poverty window to come and vote. And look at the recent local government elections in Lagos State, abandoned. You see, talking about apathy. So I think we need to wake up, and face the reality in this country. I monitor the report of IMF and their prescriptions to Nigeria. I keep wondering, Nigeria is referred, in fact, Africa is referred to as a continent of huge economic potential. You saw what happened recently. Donald Trump invited 5 African leaders, Gabon and Liberia. He was even asking the president of the land to speak good English. So, and you see this Africa. I did a research, man. The total population of the world should be around 8.2 billion. And out of which Africa is about 1.5 billion. And God is generous enough to deposit 40% of the whole resources in the world in Africa. Why are we poor?
I want to summarize that before we open up the phone lines, that our blessing also seems to be our curse. In case you're just joining us, we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. You can post your comments on our live stream. We'd like to hear from you. Barrister Jide Ologun is joining us as we talk about the plea bargain situation and terrorism financing in Nigeria. 0201-277-0993. That's the number to call if you are male. For the female, 0201-465-7190. If you are joining us via WhatsApp, join the conversation, 08095975805, or better still on X, use the hashtag hardfacts and post your comments. We would like to hear from you. 60 seconds, please go straight to the point. Hello.
Good evening, Maryann.
Yes.
Good evening to your guest. You see, these things we are discussing like this, each time we are discussing, it look as if we are sounding like a broken record. But this is our reality. But the reason why foreigners will come here and misbehave and go scot-free is because even those who are here, they've done things that are worse and there are no consequences. There are no consequences until there is a measure of punishment. We need someone that will take over government, that will stand and say, you are my dear friend, but this is what you've done. You are going down for it. This is not this media stuff that we are doing. This media, they find social amount in social person's pocket. I want to tell you today, virtually every Nigerian politician behaves like an oppressor. They take advantage of the system.
Okay.
They take advantage.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ladipo, for calling. I do appreciate it. 0201-277-0993. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Mera. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is James Obisi.
Go ahead.
You see, everything we have been saying from Buhari government to date, all is true. This is what this man is saying now. Have you seen the right hand on the word? This morning, I called Kofi. I said, do you remember what Buhari said? 2015, when he said if he lost election, monkey and bamboo will soak with blood. Kofi was asking me, where's my fat? Where's my fat? Do you hear it now? Our government knows the terrorists. They know them. Until we begin to tell ourselves truth, Nigeria will move forward. Without telling ourselves truth, we will remain like this, that kingdom that come. We will never move forward until we tell ourselves the truth, the fact. Only truth will set us free in this country. May God bless you and bless you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
This is Maryann speaking to you from Plea.
Go ahead.
First off, on a lighter note, the way you are calling those Chinese names just look like your... anyway, your mouth is shaped in a Chinese way.
Don't forget, my language sounds like Chinese too, so yeah.
It seems you are not even missing any this thing in calling of those names. I think we should be leading in Africa, you know. When people hear Nigeria, you know, we should be the pride of Africa. So it's just like a pest in the bag, you know, the sentence, you know, vis-a-vis the crime those people committed, you know, because we should be sending a signal, you know, to the world, you know, that we are not just Nigeria, you know, but we uphold rule of law. But what can we say? Just like one of the callers said, you know, that our leaders, you know, sometimes they are law breakers, you know, rather than respecting the rule of law. So it's neither here nor there for me. Then for the passing of Muhammadu Buhari, I condole with his family, you know, but to be honest with you, the man no do well for us. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann.
Good evening.
This is Joy again.
Hello, Joy.
Sorry, please, your guest, you said it is police superintendent, right?
Yes, but he's a lawyer, most importantly.
And also a police officer before, right? I want to be sure for you.
Yes, he said it. You heard him. Yes, he said
it. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And see, I'm not trying to say that Buhari legacy is. I don't know what to say. So he even further tells us the rules of his legacy concerning security. You heard what he said. 2011, that Babu. The people keep telling us that it's a lie. Where did he say this and that? 2011. What he said, 2013, you see now, in his government, Dubai gave us the names of sponsors of Boko Haram who heard what they did. And you see all this, Maryann. It now made us look as if we Nigerians, we are fools, like we don't know what we are doing. But I know myself, I know my capacity, I know what I can do.
Thank you for calling.
There's no problem. Maryann, I see you anchor the show, like, you talk as if we Nigerians are just sit down there, we are too docile.
I have to take another call, Joy. Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann. My greetings.
You are not supposed to call the ladies' line. Please call the ladies' line. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
You're not supposed to call the ladies' line, please. Gentlemen, call 0201-277-0993. That is your line. Don't call the ladies' line. Hello.
Yeah, actually, good evening, Mama.
Good evening.
The Lord, good evening, sir. Look, if wishes were horses, I will make this our lawyer, the Inspector General of Police. When I said when it comes to revenge, nobody believed me. They were throwing just at me. Did you hear what the law is explaining? Thank God, the Attorney General, the CJN, said there will be a stiffer penalty now, punishment for corrupt whatever. I wish that CJN can put that down and make sure they implement that statement. The Chinese people, I want to say kudos to their lawyer. I think he made their bargaining or their fine low, so maybe him himself will get a higher pay for job well done.
Okay.
Thank you, the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good evening.
You're not allowed to call the ladies' line. I will not tell you this again. If I pick up and you're a man, I'm dropping the call. Your line is 0201 2770993. Please don't call the ladies' line. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Felix. I'm calling from Papa.
Felix, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I want to say that your guest is he explained very well and he knows what he's doing. He knows that in Nigeria, I don't think there's any politician that will not say that he does not have a skeleton in his cupboard. That is why Nigerian politicians cannot fight corruption. And that is why if they know that you are not corrupt, they cannot support you because getting there, you will not allow them to get
and
loot Nigerian money.
Okay.
And I see that this sentence for this China, if it is in Nigeria, they will not give him 1 year. To be more than that. But because of the foreigner, when they know that they do how, if they go back to their country, they will be questioned. They know what they are doing. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Felix, for calling. I do appreciate it. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts. This will be my last call. Hello.
Hi, Maryann. This is Kenny. How are you?
I'm good, Kenny. Go ahead, please.
Thank you for bringing Barrister Balogun. Barrister Balogun, good evening, sir. Please,
Good evening.
I want to make a petition to you so that maybe you move it to the NBA. I have noticed, and painfully too, that some silks they are perpetrating some kind of thing in the legal judiciary system that leaves much to be desired. They seem to be muddling the waters there. And I thought that the reason why they designate them is because they are quintessential. I'm saying that, please, if there's a way that the NBA can find to screen out the bad eggs amongst them, that, keeps getting cases adjourned, just making a delay in the entire process and ultimately trying to prevent justice.
Okay.
There should be a system whereby certain people should be derobed or debarred.
All right.
Clean it up, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Kelly, for calling. But look, I have just 30 seconds, unfortunately. Where do we go from here? That's my last question.
I didn't hear that question well.
I said, where do we go from here? In 30 seconds.
Yeah. God says in his word that righteousness exalts a nation and sin is a reproach to a people. So if prosperity is part of our strong desires in the country, let's do what is right. We have enough resources to be great. And I pray that if we move in that direction, God will show us mercy.
All right.
And revive our nation so that we have the majority enjoying prosperity.
All right.
And poverty is driven away and crime is decimated.
All right.
Nigeria.
All right. I want to say thank you to you. Jide Ologun is a lawyer and a fellow of the Institute of Leadership, Coaching and Strategy, and he's been talking to us on Hard Facts. We really appreciate you for coming on the show, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank God.
All right. Well, Lagos, this is where I leave you. I want to say thank you to you all for being part of the conversation. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO. That's for me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, NigeriaInfo.fm. My name is Maryann Okon. I love you, Lagos. See you tomorrow.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.